Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out some premium travel gear from Friedrik. Here I have their carry-on luggage and the Traverse backpack. And I've been curious to check out their gear for a while, as I've always heard great things. They seem to have a really unique and cool style. I actually saw that some of their luggages had been featured on shows like Succession and The White Lotus, so you know that they mean business. And I also really like a 2-bag setup like this. A capable day bag paired with a rolling luggage that I could take with me onto the flight, store in an overhead storage compartment. I just think that it gives you some extra flexibility and space, for those trips that are a little longer, or you just have additional gear that you might need to carry with you. And so I've been using these for the past couple of weeks, and in this video I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to test them. I'll show you how I've loaded them out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how they compare to some of the other similar items that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing, as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Taking a look at the Traverse backpack, this has a pretty vintage rucksack style vibe. The aesthetic here is inspired from classic kind of military and technical backpacks, and this is something that to me feels pretty timeless. I've used a few of these types of bags over the years, and I always just love the aesthetic, the feel, and they're also usually pretty functional. So they're not the most minimal bags, but it does feel like something that's going to blend in nicely into a lot of different environments, whether you're traveling, exploring, or going into the office. And then as far as the materials, this is offered in a couple of different fabrics. There's a nylon version, and then the one that I have here is nubuck leather, which feels very premium and rugged. The appearance here reminds me a little bit of suede, but it's going to be more durable than suede due to the fact that it is leather, and that's also going to make it a little heavier, as has been the case with many of the other leather bags that I've used, but it does feel like you get a lot of durability and a premium feeling for that weight. Then beyond that, you have leather accenting on different areas of the bag, really solid components. The zippers are an area that I'm not as crazy about. This is something I've noticed with luxury brands in general. They tend to really like this style of zipper, which just doesn't feel as smooth as some of the modern YKK zippers that I like to use. Now, they have worked well so far, but it's just something that's more of a preference thing for me, as I have had experiences in the past where this style of zipper can get a little bit snagged, but so far they've worked pretty consistently. Continuing along the exterior, you have a nice carrying handle at the top, really nice kind of leather feel here, nice distance so that you can hang it up, good zipper pulls, and then there is this strap and buckle system on the front that we'll take a closer look at when we dive into the organization. Last thing I'll call out on the exterior is that the bag does manage to stand up pretty consistently on its own, which has been nice to see. I've been able to place it down next to me, grab what I need from the pockets. And then moving into the capacity, the bag comes in at about 27 liters, which to me is a really versatile size. It might be on the larger end of EDC bags for some people, but I think that it's a size that will still work well. It was easily able to handle the items that I normally like to carry with me. I like that it had some extra space for longer days. The adjustable kind of top loading nature is also helpful. And then it has a silhouette that is going to allow you to use it for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, and carrying onto a variety of domestic and international airlines. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. I like how the straps have been implemented here. They have a nice amount of padding. It's really soft and broken in. On the inside, you have a breathable material to help prevent moisture from building up. The straps also have a pretty good width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders. There's no sternum strap or the ability to add one, so very minimal straps. And you have some strap management here at the bottom, which is really nice. The back has also felt quite comfortable. You have a nice amount of padding here that's well distributed throughout the back. You have that same breathable material here and some air channels. You don't have one of those deep kind of middle air channels that I'm usually a fan of, but this has felt pretty good so far, even as I've been wearing it for a longer period of time. And on the back, we also have a nice luggage pass-through that's going to allow you to rest this on your suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. And you have a cool hidden zippered compartment here in the luggage pass-through area that you can use to store something a little bit more sensitive, like a passport, a wallet, or some extra cash. Jumping into the organizational options, you have a nice variety of pockets all throughout. Starting off on the front, you have a couple of quick access zippered pockets, and they have this leather accent here that kind of covers the zipper. And then these are going to be great because of their vertical orientation. You can swing the bag around and grab whatever you need. They offer a pretty good amount of space On this one, I'm storing my charging cable and my AirPods so that I can get to those regularly. And then on the other side, you have a similarly sized pocket that I am currently using just to store a pair of scissors and a headlamp. And on the sides, you have additional zippered pockets. And I like the space and the volume here. These are also great when you're standing the bag up so that you can reach down and grab bulkier items. Here I'm storing my charging cable and my USB-C hub, which I use to charge all of my devices while I'm on the go. So a nice, simple, spacious compartment here. And then on the other side, similar compartment, similar size, and I'm just using this to store my sunglasses at the moment. And on the back, you have an interesting water bottle pocket. So it's zippered here on the back, and I like that it provides the ability to store a water bottle. Here I have my 20-ounce bottle, and that fits in here comfortably. You can see that it is a little bit taller than this bottle, so if you have other items that you might want to store, maybe an umbrella, smaller tripod, you know, I like the flexibility provided by these zippered pockets, so a really interesting idea there. You also have a dedicated laptop compartment that has this vertical zipper on the side, and this offers a nice amount of padding here, particularly on the back. And it does feel like there is a little bit of a false bottom here. It's hard to tell because this bottom section is pretty padded, but it does feel like there is a slight gap. And regardless, when I've been placing my laptop in there, it feels like the device is protected on the bottom, which is what I normally care about. And then you have a good amount of space here. 15-inch laptop should fit comfortably. Probably a 16-incher could fit in here as well. So a nice amount of space, and it's easy to get your device out because it is a dedicated compartment, which I'm always a fan of, particularly on a travel focus bag. And then on the inside, you can get a better look now. With the amount that this comes up, it should be able to handle a slightly thicker device, or if you want to use a case with your laptop, it should work well. And with the padding that's offered here, it does feel like my device is going to be safe while I'm on the go. Moving into the main compartment, you have this rucksack style flap, and I really like the buckle system here as it's very easy to release this, and it does still feel like when you tighten this down, it's secure. So it offers a good balance. Sometimes with these style of bags, access can be a little bit of a pain, but I like the system here because you can almost do it one-handed if you want to. So that's just faster than having to deal with, you know, the two straps or a complicated buckle. So I think that this strikes a good balance for this style of bag. You do have the ability to adjust this if you need some extra space here, if you want to use it to hold a jacket or something that doesn't fit on the inside, or if you're just carrying extra stuff, and then you can release it and have access to this drawstring closure. And so you really use this to tighten the bag down to make sure that the edges stay underneath the flap if you happen to get caught in some rain, to ensure that it doesn't get into the drawstring section. And you can tighten this down, you can loosen it up. You have this segment here to help kind of keep it in place. And then you have this cavernous main area. So lots of space here. Again, 27 liters of capacity. With my typical loadout, you can see that there's plenty of leftover space here at the top. I currently have my Beat Studio wireless headphones. I have my Lockbeat Tech pouch. I have my Alpaca admin pouch. I have the Civic Access pouch, 1/2 liter. I have the Civic Access pouch, 1 liter. And then I also have the Civic Access pouch, 2 liters. So that's quite a bit of stuff and still plenty of leftover space. And on the back of this compartment, you have an additional sleeve that might be a good spot for a tablet, a notebook, something a little bit taller. And on the front, you have some slip pockets that might be good for something like, you know, a portable battery, a mouse, anything you don't want falling to the bottom of the bag. Hopefully you can get a good view there of these compartments. So very simple, not a ton of elasticity, but still a good size. And then you also have a zippered pocket here on the lid. That's going to be a good spot for anything that you don't want floating around. I'm currently using this to store my mouse, but that could have gone here on the front if I wanted. And I also have Tom Bin Ghostwell pouch tossed in there. So a good amount of capacity in this zipper pocket. I could have placed this pouch in here as well and closed it up if I wanted to. So always like the flexibility provided by these types of layouts. And I'll go ahead and take that out. I can reach the mouse as well. And with the amount of space that's offered here, I would definitely be able to use this for minimal travel. I could toss in my packing cube, a toiletry bag, an extra pair of shoes, some additional items, and I'd be able to use this for a longer weekend trip, maybe even a week of travel if I was going a little more minimally. So I really like the flexibility provided by this simpler layout in the main compartment and how much organization has been incorporated throughout the rest of the bag. It's a really unique layout, and if you're looking for a bag that's gonna offer a ton of style, premium materials, and a nice bit of flexibility with how you can organize your stuff, and this is gonna be a really cool option to keep in mind. Moving into the carry-on, I like that the aesthetic here feels a little bit different than many of the other modern hard shell rollers that I've had a chance to check out. Style is of course always subjective, but to me this has a very classy vibe. I like that it has a little bit of texture. It's not just the plain kind of sleek exterior, and so you have some pops of color, and it's overall something that just stands out to me. It looks great, and I think it's gonna work well for all sorts of travel. I also like that the aesthetic is gonna help separate it from some of just kind of the plain black roller bags down the market. There's always a little bit of a fear of mine that it'll get grabbed accidentally at some point, and so this definitely stands out, and it's offered in a couple of different colors. I like this combination that I have here with the chocolate brown to help it match the Traverse backpack that I picked out. And then as far as the materials, you have a really solid polycarbonate shell here, feels very durable, and you have really nice handles along the side. So one on the side here with the Carl Friedrik logo, one at the top. I like that these come out to make them easy to grab, and then they just stay pretty close to the luggage when they're not in use. And you have the very smooth working Hinomoto wheels. These have been reliable. I've been able to, move the bag around very comfortably, pull it, push it. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. I like that these don't come out too far from the bottom of the bag, so the height manages to stay reasonable, which is always helpful as far as keeping the bag easy to store in an overhead storage compartment. And then you have a great telescoping handle that, again, has worked very easily. It's been easy to use, smooth, it locks into place comfortably, and it gives you the height that you need so that you can maneuver the suitcase as you want to. The capacity here is going to be about 40 liters, which to me is a really great carry-on friendly size. This is the type of thing that I would be comfortable taking with me on a variety of domestic and international airlines and storing in the overhead storage compartment. I could easily take the items that I would need for a couple of weeks of travel here, particularly when paired with something like the Traverse backpack. And the weight here is going to be about 8 pounds, a little bit over 8 pounds, which feels like kind of a standard weight in this category of luggage. Kind of comes with the territory that it's going to be a little heavier than a backpack, as you have the wheels and all the components. And so you get a lot for the weight, but that is always something that you'll kind of have to keep an eye on as you're loading your bag out and preparing for some of the flights that have stricter weight limits. Jumping into the organizational options, the layout here is very simple. You don't have any quick access pockets on the exterior. All the space is allocated to the primary storage compartment, which I'm a big fan of on luggages like this. I prefer to have as much space as possible in the main area. I don't normally end up using quick access pockets that much, particularly when I have a backpack with me, and so I think that was a good call. And you have on one end the legs here that are going to allow you to place the luggage down and prevent it from getting damaged. And you have these really cool lockable buckles here. So these are TSA approved combination locks, and you can set one for each side. And then you have this quick release mechanism here, which works very smoothly, allows you to quickly open the bag up. And so I'll go ahead and place it, and you have a standard suitcase opening here with your two different compartments that you can use for your stuff. On one side you have a compression strap that allows you to see the compartment itself, and so this is where I'm storing some of the bulkier items that I might normally have with me. So I have an extra pair of shoes here, which is the type of thing that I normally don't take unless I'm traveling with the roller bag, and so something like those running shoes are great to be able to store when I need some extra capacity. That's what I love about taking a carry-on for. I have an additional pair of Toms here just packed in my packing cube, and an extra compressible cube with some additional clothing, again, that I might not have room for if I'm just using a smaller one bag travel option. Really simple layout here, which I think is great. It just allows you to maximize how much you can store. You have full usage of the volume here, and it's gonna work very, very well with packing cubes. And then on the other side, you have this panel here that you can use to kind of help flatten everything down. Another compression strap here, which is adjustable. You have a zippered pocket that could be a good spot to store a laundry bag or some smaller accessories, maybe some toiletries, tech items. I normally don't use these too much. I prefer to leave the space to the primary compartment so that I could easily close it. You have the nice Carl Friedrik logo here, and I like the inner liner. Again, just it all feels pretty classy, and you can open this up, and on the inside, again, you have just a large storage space for however you'd like to organize your stuff. Here I have my typical Peak Design packing cube setup, so I have the small compressible cube and the medium one. Both of those fit in there very easily. And on the inside here, you can see pretty simple layout. On the back, you have the gaps created by the telescoping handle. So you can use this space to just stuff it with socks, shirts, underwear, other smaller items, just to make sure that you're not losing this space. And then you have a couple of small zippered compartments on the side that'll be great for anything that you don't want getting lost. I will probably put an air tag in here, maybe some smaller medicines, some additional cables and things like that. So a very simple but effective layout. This is what I'm always looking for in a roller bag, is that it's easy to pack, that I'm not gonna lose a lot of the storage space to unnecessary bells and whistles. So clean, minimal, and if you're looking for a classy, durable suitcase that's gonna allow you to store a ton of stuff, and this is gonna be a great option to take a look at. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the carry-on luggage and Traverse backpack over the past couple of weeks. You can currently purchase these on the company's site. Carl Friedrik's products do come in at a more premium price point. The luggage is going to be around $545, and the Traverse backpack in the nubuck fabric that I featured in this video is going to be around $745. So they're definitely an investment, and as I've mentioned with other items that I've featured in these price ranges in the past, value is always going to be relative. There's going to be luggages and backpacks that are in a much higher price range, and some that are going to be in lower price ranges. And so, it really just depends on what you're looking for. These do feel like premium, well-built items that are going to compare well against some of the other similar items in their respective categories. And so as I was testing this out, one of the first bags this made me think of is the 152 Transit backpack from Grams 28. That's another really premium brand. That bag came in at around $900. It's an all leather backpack. It feels super premium, high quality. It has a clamshell style opening, nice organizational layout. It included a cool compressible packing cube, comfortable straps. You have a laptop compartment, lots of functionality there. And so with something like leather, you're always gonna end up paying a little bit of a premium. You have, aqua guarded zippers, really solid construction, and it's just a really slick bag. And if you're looking for something that comes in leather that's going to give you a lot of interesting functionality and feels very premium, then that's going to be an excellent option to take a look at. Another company this made me think of is Peak Design. They have a wide array of high quality products. They recently launched their first luggage with the Roller Pro, which came in at a pretty similar price point to this one. It might have actually been a little bit more expensive. That one had some really excellent features, a different layout, more of a clamshell style bag. It had a quick access pocket, an area to store your laptop, an interesting layout that also combined well with a camera cube that was designed specifically for the roller bag. They did some interesting stuff with the telescoping handle and just had some cool ideas. It's been a really interesting, cool bag to use. They also have a lot of cool backpacks that are not quite in the same price range as this one, but still an investment. And they have some great photography focused bags. So the Everyday Backpack and the Everyday Backpack Zip will provide plenty of organization and protection for your electronics while you're on the road. They're very full featured, water bottle pockets, luggage pass through, laptop compartment, and then just really cool designs, a modern style. And so if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit more techy and is still going to offer lots of quality, then those are going to be some fantastic options to keep in mind. And then the last company that I'll mention here is Air. They also have a really impressive variety of bags and gear, very solidly built. I'm a huge fan of their backpacks. I've been talking about the City Pack Pro 2 a lot over the past couple of months. Just all the functionality that has is really the type of thing that I normally look for. Luggage pass-through, ballistic nylon exterior, super comfortable harness system, good laptop protection, water bottle pockets, and then they also have their own roller luggage, which has been really solid. It's got, Air's typical sleek, modern style, very reliable wheels. They have it in 2 different sizes. And it's just been great to use. It also has a really interesting lock for the wheels so that the bag doesn't roll away. I've been a big fan of that functionality. And beyond that, it has a pretty similar layout to this, just maybe a different style, more techie, more minimal. And so if you're looking for accessories that are gonna offer a good style, solid reliability, and a great variety, then Air is gonna be an excellent option to keep in mind as well. With that being said, the Traverse backpack and carry-on luggage hold up very well against all those options. I've really enjoyed using these, and if you have the budget for it and you're looking to invest in high quality, stylish, and functional travel accessories, then these are gonna be some excellent options to consider. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the Traverse backpack and the carry-on luggage and how they compare to some of the other popular travel gear that's currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company for sending the items for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.